Hi, the Polo Citizen here. What if we look at games the way artists look at paintings? How do we understand whether a masterpiece is in front of us or just a failure? The game I expect you today is a VR escape room puzzle game. For this genre, puzzle games, there is a characteristic feature: you can only play them once. The solution to a puzzle is impossible to forget. That's why my spoiler-free review format works perfectly for this game. If you want to check out the game yourself, you can easily find it in literally all VR stores. Its price is 25, sometimes 16 during sales. In this game you will play as a secret agent fighting against a supervillain. In each of 7 missions you will find yourself in a luxury ambience filled with retro-styled cutting-edge technology devices. While escaping from each level, you will ruin each new terrible plan of an evil company who wants to destroy or maybe just rule the world. The game is styled like 1950s spy thrillers and filled with humor. You will work in pairs with another agent who will do his best in giving advices while sitting in the safety of headquarters. Bomb diffusion, deadly lasers and poison gas. Survive these deadly situations and you will be rewarded with a cup of tea. Or something stronger. And have I mentioned your telekinesis powers? You can just levitate objects to you, so you can remain comfortably seated if you want so. Now that I have introduced you to the game, let's analyze together whether it is a masterpiece or not. So, let us dive into the world of I Expect You Today in this spoiler-free review.
You got away again. You must think you're so clever. I promise you, agent, can't escape me forever. I expect you to die. I expect you to die. I expect you to die. When you finally see the worst side of me, will finally be eye to eye. I expect you to die. I expect you to die. I expect you to die. You to die.
The game I Expect You Today was released in 2016. Why is this important? Well, besides the fact that there are already 2 sequels released, it tells us about hardware restrictions. This game can run even on the first Oculus. And, as is often the case with the consoles, it means that the version of the game is the same for all VR headset generations. So, while the graphics might be better for newer VR headsets, the gameplay remains the same. The gameplay represents a classic escape room. You will solve puzzles and use handy items to progress through the level. In terms of storyline, we'll be playing as a secret agent, so in each mission we're saving the world from a supervillain. It's very easy to immerse yourself in this game. The interesting question here is, why? Of course, the graphics play their part. The game is made in style of the 1950s. At the same time, following the genre of spy action movies, we will often be in luxurious, expensive interiors, as well as encountering advanced mechanics working on the verge of scientific discoveries. Each level is filled with small details, but they are all in their place and designed with high quality. But in my opinion, the graphics, as well as sounds, they can't create immersion in themselves. They should be good enough to not knock you out of the immersion. And that's why, in my opinion, the main role in why you feel immersed in this game so quickly is the presence of a hub. The office where you start a new session every time. The most important thing is that everything here becomes familiar. The music from the radio, the items you can interact with, Also, there is no time pressure, you can just sit back and have a cup of tea or coffee. After selecting a mission, a brief is played every time. At the start of each mission, you also will be reminded of your objective and given time to look around. But also you can skip these hints. In general, the characters in the game are able to react to your actions. If you play slowly, they will talk a lot, but if you start acting quickly, you might surprise them. However, it's also important not to overestimate the amount of dialogues. Completing all inbuilt challenges pretty much unlocks all of them. And yes, there are challenges that helps you to discover all points of interest in each level. After completing a challenge, you will be given a souvenir that will be in your office. In short, this game knows how to interact perfectly with the player. Here is an example from the first level. We're given a panel with screws. The thought arises, why don't I unscrew them? And you can find a knife in the car. But when you try to unscrew with it, you won't succeed. However, in theory, such screws can be unscrewed with anything flat. Here players will be divided into two types. Some will think that you need to find another object, like a screwdriver, and others will think that the panel is just a decoration. And there is a line built into the game specifically for that.
I've seen you do many creative things with a knife, but I don't think turning screws will be among them.
So, we are told that our way of thinking is correct, but we just need to look for another item. And this balance is crucial for a puzzle game. If the game is too difficult and unclear, you will simply turn it off or go to the internet for a full playthrough. At the same time, the game can be too easy. The main reward here is the feeling of how smart you are, having solved such a challenging puzzles on your own. I only got stuck on one level. I couldn't find the necessary interaction element for a long time and somehow I managed to take all clues wrong. So basically, on one of the levels I was trying to solve a non-existent task, not noticing the real one. At that moment, a hint system would have worked perfectly. During my search for solutions, I turned to the internet for advice. Imagine my surprise when I found a hint section in the official website. However, unfortunately, there is a hint only for the latest third game. It's a pity. So let us answer the question, is this a good game? I would say if you watch the walkthrough of this game, you will enjoy it like watching a good spy movie. And by the way, I published my walkthroughs on my second channel. Good graphic, interesting story, connected yet splitted into episodes. It's hard to overpraise the sound and music, they're really well done. There's plenty of humor in this game, and a lot of voice actors clearly put a lot in their work. All of this puts I Expect You to Die on par with good movies. But this is a game, in which you solve puzzles, defuse bomb yourself and narrowly escape from deadly situations at the last second. And the interaction here is not like in interactive movies or other standard games. It's a VR, where you can hold every item in your hands. So yes, I'm very glad that such game exists at all. It's truly a unique experience, and I definitely want to set such standards when creating my own projects. And it is the best time to subscribe on my channel. The following deconstruction video will be released on next Saturday. In this part of the review, I'd like to share some tips for those of you who will play the game later. Keep in mind the button that resets your in-game position. For Oculus 2, you need to hold the Oculus button. This is useful in case you find yourself way too far from the standard position. Completing the game with all challenges took me about 6 hours. Additionally, I discovered several extra secrets. I will share hints for them in the second video. This game has 7 levels. Each one is totally different. My advice, take your time with each level. No need to rush through the whole game at once. But be prepared for danger, you're gonna die a lot in this game. I'm talking about realistic death, like suffocation, drowning, getting stabbed or shot. Consider it before buying the game. If you happen to have a disability, that's not a problem at all. This game is designed to be played while seated, so you'll have the same experience whether you are on a wheelchair or not. Additionally, I experimented with playing using only one hand, and I believe it's possible to fully complete the game this way. The only potential challenge might rise with built-in speedrun challenges. Without spoilers, there is just no way to break this game down in details. So I will see you in the next video called Deconstruction. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any ideas for other VR games I should definitely play, write them in the comments. And basically feel free to leave any comment, I'd appreciate it. The Polar Citizen out. Stay strong.